Shirley Temple to Amy Semple is equally understood. Go out and try your luck, you may be Donald Duck. Hooray for Hollywood.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to a Radulich Broadcasting premiere podcast. Damn you, Hollywood. And here's your host with the most, Robert Winfree. Yay!
Hello, everyone. Special Monday, Damn You, Hollywood here. I'm Robert Winfree. I have a bit here, and so I need to bring on the other two people before I really get into it, because it's important for context. First, joining me per usual for Damn You, Hollywood, unless it's a horror movie, in which case he is a giant weenie, your friend and mine, Mr. Granny One Tooth, in the next couple of years, maybe, Mark Radulich. How you doing?
I'm totally getting dentures. I can see that coming. I was telling my wife, I don't know why I crossed that threshold into 40, and other than just being overweight, why my health completely deteriorated. But if this is what I have to look forward to for the next 40 years of just steadily deteriorating health and constant pain, Jesse Starcher, when is the singularity getting here? Because I need to upload my conscience today. I'm done with this human flesh bag of a body I've got.
Well, Mark, let me tell you, hopefully it's right around the corner, because, buddy, you have told me of your physical ailments, sir. You've told everybody on this network at some point of some of the stuff that you've been suffering from. And you need a robot fast.
Yeah, I do.
Robot body. Fantastic.
My friend Tom also, like we used to talk about, like, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and, you know, we used to talk about, like, you know, lifting weights and working out, going on runs. Now all we talk about is what pain we're in. What hurts this week?
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. No kidding. Man, I remember, like, 3 years ago, having problems with my hip, and I'm like, what is going on? And in about a month, I will turn 43. So it is the 40s. Just be ready, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as that 4 hits, just be prepared for things to go downhill quickly.
There's, like, you know, Han from the new up-and-coming Fast and the Furious movie, just in the crow's nest, just fucking sniping people.
Yeah.
As 30 crosses into 40, boom, shot to the
boom.
head.
Yes, that's right.
All
Winfree.
Right. You young spry man, you captain of martial arts, you physical specimen. Arrgh.
I'm not a physical specimen, and other than the purely scientific term that you could put me in a jar. I would like to. Suddenly I lost the word. I would like to call to order, this particular meeting of the triumvirate of the Radulich Broadcasting Network. We are the three wise old men. We have been around the longest. We are the most consistent. We run the powerhouse shows. We are the apex. We are the patriarchy, as it were, gentlemen. And the last time the three of us convened, we discussed a 13-hour experience that turned into a group therapy session. The unholy union of neon, new wave experimentalism in cinema, and violence, all created by the singular vision of one Alexander Winding Refn. It's a great show. It's in the archives. You can look it up if you're so inclined. Tonight, we gather to discuss the movie Vanquish, a vehicle for Morgan Freeman and Ruby Rose, featuring a ton of neon lighting, pseudo-action, quasi-experimentalism, loosely influenced by the French New Wave of cinema. And gentlemen, we just have to stop meeting like this to dust off an old chestnut.
One would think somebody did this on purpose, but I don't think they did. They accidentally fell into this shithole, and we now have to dig ourselves out.
With Ruby Rose. I just saw a trailer with Ruby Rose and Morgan Freeman. I didn't know.
Look,
I figured it was going to be a stupid action movie. Why does this keep happening?
Look, I popped the both of you. I'm happy with the bit. Oh, all right. So, yeah, for the record, just behind the scenes a little bit, Mark said, hey, looks like there's this stupid action movie starring Morgan Freeman and Ruby Rose. It's going to be on Amazon. Why don't we review it? And I said, well, sure, why not? Jesse, why did you agree to this?
I don't know. I have no idea why. I think that there was a point where Mark said, hey, jump in here and we'll talk about a movie. And I was like, hey, I'm up for usually just about anything. I did Too Old to Die Young. You can probably put me down for just about anything. And I didn't think it was going to be going back to the same well. It was poisoned once before. Why do we go back? But again, I don't think Mark had a clue as to what we were getting into with this thing.
I don't blame Mark for this. Like I wish I could, but I cannot in good conscience or in good faith say, Mark, you did this to us. I know what Mark expected out of this movie, and I know it's not what we got.
Mm-hmm.
So I hold him not at all responsible for this.
I will say it tried, but it failed.
No, I'm not even giving this attempt.
Okay. No credit for trying. Sorry, Vanquish.
Before I get into the plot synopsis, I want to just share how my conception of this film's existence is as follows. If Too Old to Die Young and something like The 25th Hour, which some of you may or may not have seen, I think it's a Spike Lee movie starring Edward Norton.
Oh, that's the one where he's turning himself into prison the next day, so the night before he goes and parties with like fat Russians and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a great cast to that. Again, there's Norton in the lead. You also have Barry Pepper, the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, Anna Paquin.
Yeah, at the end of the night, he's like, punch me in the mouth, like knock my teeth out, because I don't. No, it was punch me in the face, ugly me up, so that people won't want me to blow them when the first day I get to prison.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I remember of 25th Hour.
Point being, if those two cinematic experiences had a child and then dropped it on its head every 4 minutes for the first 6 years or so of its life, that's what would give birth to Vanquish.
I thought I was going to say, I thought the 25th Hour was a reference to like the next episode after the final, like a little teaser after Too Old to Die Young. But
Jenna Elfman still dancing.
Oh yeah, I would have took that probably over this.
With Jenna Malone, Jenna Elfman or Jenna Malone?
It wasn't Jenna Elfman.
Jenna Malone. Okay.
Jenna Malone.
Yeah, this fucking movie.
Well, let's get into the plot so we can discuss the specifics.
Okay.
So the plot of this movie is as follows.
They advertised us doing the UFC.
They did.
I just want to say that. I thought we were in good shape.
They absolutely did. Pay to have Ruby Rose give a recorded like Zoom message about, hey, UFC fans, we think you'll love this movie. I don't know if that statement was made in good faith, but if it was, lady, you wildly misunderstood both the movie you made and the UFC audience.
You couldn't see it directly. You had to look at the reflection, but there was a gun on her off camera making that statement.
I assume so. So we are introduced to Morgan Freeman's character, who is a retired and crippled police commissioner. But of course, because he's a cop and this is a movie in 2021, he's dirty.
Now, as if you couldn't tell, I promise, this is the only time I want to do this because I know I'll forget. But as if you couldn't tell, at the beginning of the credits, as they go through and they give us a lot of decent exposition or just an idea of what type of person Morgan Freeman's character is, there is a picture or a small snippet of a snake crawling around guns. I can't put the dots together with the line here. Is he a crooked cop? Robert Winfree, tell me.
That's That is somehow less subtle than Martin Scorsese choosing to end The Departed with a shot of a rat on a windowsill with the Boston Capitol in the background.
Nice.
Yeah. So he sets up to have his caretaker, Ruby Rose, go out and collect payments of dirty money for him. It's unclear why he's still being paid or what value he provides to whatever loose conspiracy he's associated with, but they're still paying him. Ruby Rose is not just a typical caretaker, of course. She is under his protection as a former illicit courier and potentially assassin for hire, somewhat intimated, vague, nefarious background.
Mm-hmm.
And her daughter, who is ill with some undescribed, unnamed, only loosely referenced illness. So he blackmails her into going to make these pickups. She goes to all of them in succession. In 3 of her 5 stops, this results in bloody murder. One of them is the bunch of black gangsters, and we can't have her kill them for some reason. And the other is a priest who's in cahoots with Morgan Freeman. This is interspersed with bits of looking at a group of dirty cops that Morgan Freeman is. This is part of his group, and they're worried that they have been they've been snitched on, ratted out, and the higher powers, the FBI, are about to come down on them with evidence and ruin their little operation. But again, of course, because this is 2021 and there is no such thing as subtlety, and I know this wasn't written in 2021, but bear with me. And there's no such thing as subtlety or restraint. This conspiracy involving these people goes, of course, all the way to the governor. Whatever nebulous state they happen to live in.
Oh, jeez.
Morgan Freeman is referenced as America's police commissioner, which is the dumbest thing in the world to possibly say about someone. I want to throw that out there. So she, again, throughout all these nebulous stops, there's allegedly action sequences. We'll get into some of the specifics. She kills a bunch of people. She brings back all the money, only for it to be a swerve, bro. Morgan Freeman was actually collecting all this money for her and her daughter. He wants to kind of try and redeem his life as it nears its end. And he has given Ruby Rose inadvertently, and for some reason, it's never... Save it. I'll get to that in a second. He has given her the opportunity to, throughout this evening, kill the 3 primary groups of people who are after her for her previous nefarious actions. So now she is free and clear with 5 giant duffel bags full of cash. And she and her daughter are free to go pursue their life. All of this money will presumably buy a cure to whatever illness she has. Morgan Freeman stays behind as everyone... because he was the one working with our, again, group that was trying to get this corrupt organization brought down. They all show up to exact vengeance. He has a large sequence of bombs planted throughout his house. Blows himself and everyone else up. The governor is killed by Ruby Rose at one point. If anyone wants to talk about the specifics of that, we can.
The governor was killed by Ruby Rose's character.
The governor. Off screen. Because woman-on-woman violence wasn't a thing that this movie was down with, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, that was the governor in that scene?
That's the freaking governor, dude. And
okay.
Now, just go ahead and continue with the synopsis, please.
So, Morgan Freeman blows himself and all the dirty cops in the city up because they've all come to this one location. Ruby Rose and her daughter head off on a boat, and we get grainy family footage of them years later celebrating in a park, and the daughter's healthy, and yay, isn't everything just peachy keen? And I don't know what this sad writer-director was trying to accomplish with this, but boy, what a miserable failure on every conceivable level.
All right, Jesse. And this bears repeating. It looked like a fun action movie. And so I asked you because I was like, well, look, I owe Jesse kind of just a fun, non-brain taxing, feel-good, good time. And, like, he likes action movies. Something easy that he can watch in his house. He can watch it with his pirate hat on or whatever. So I first want to apologize for doing this to you yet again. And if you get mad at me and say you don't want to do podcasts anymore because I pick garbage, I would understand. Having said that, Well, what did you think of this movie?
Well, okay. I'm not as big as a critic as some other, other people that have a very good reason to criticize this movie for. So I sat down, I watched it on early Sunday morning. Just me, all by my lonesome. My wife probably would have watched this with me. I don't think she would have hated it. But yeah, this is one of those movies that was just there. Aside from the litany of notes that I have of some of the absurdity that occurs, I wasn't completely taken out of it, other than just because I had to put my critic hat on. Watching some of the stuff, the painful stuff that kind of happens throughout the film, like we watch things occur, and then Ruby Rose hops on her motorcycle, and we hear her rehash them for us.
Literally 5 seconds ago.
We just watched it happen. So, I mean, if we're going to just say, Jesse, did you enjoy yourself? I'll say I watched a movie, and would I suggest this to anybody? Probably not, unless they're just really looking for something to watch. I didn't hate it, but man, there was a lot of stuff I could complain about. And, I've got my notes, so I don't hate you, Mark. Mark, you pointed me this way, and as a matter of fact, we talked about it offline about, was it the director, who had a list of films that you were just throwing out there that I liked?
He either wrote and or directed fucking Midnight Run. Okay, I have it up right now.
Only wrote that.
Okay, he wrote Wise Guys, he wrote Midnight Run, he wrote and directed 29th Street, he wrote, directed, and produced Trapped in Paradise. All right, everyone duck and cover because Robert's about to lose his mind. He wrote Bad Boys. Bad
Boys 1, I was all excited about that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched that movie probably at least 15 times. So I enjoyed it.
He wrote See Spot Run. He wrote The Whole 10 Yards. He wrote, directed, and produced Local Color, which is a drama.
Colors.
No,
the record, whole 10 yards is crap.
Okay. And then he wrote and directed Mom's New Boyfriend, Middlemen, Columbus Circle, and Bigger. His most recent things, he wrote and directed The Comeback Trail, which is a crime comedy, and it's a remake of the 1982 film by the same name. It stars De Niro, Tommy Lee Jones, Morgan Freeman, and Zach Braff, among others. And then before that, he just directed something called The Poison Rose, which is an American thriller based on a novel.
How was he involved in Trapped in Paradise?
Trapped in Paradise, wrote, directed, and produced.
I am a fan of that film. I like that film. Every Christmas, I'll try to at least pull out a few Christmas movies that I love to watch, and that's one of them. I really like that one.
So it's not like he's not a first-time director. He's not a first-time writer. He didn't write this, by the way. It was written by Samuel Bartlett, who does not have a wiki link.
Shock of shocks.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's a working Hollywood director with some fairly substantial credits to his name. So it's not like, when Alexis and I discussed jiu-jitsu, we were shocked. Like, I went through Dmitry Logothetis' Wikipedia and career and his Wikipedia entry and his filmography, and he had some fairly substantial credits to his name too. And so I'm just wondering what is happening in Hollywood that people who are fairly at least average and competent writers and directors are being given budgets to make movies, and these movies are full goose bozo. What is happening in Hollywood? Is there so much money now to produce? I mean, and maybe this is an extension of the fact that because of VOD and is just a need for, I don't know. I'm going to walk that statement back because these films might have been there all along. They might have been made all along, but we might not have known about them because we would, these might have been like a video rental thing, or it might have been on cable TV and we just wouldn't have known about it. Now, so much of this stuff is VOD and it's so easily to access, we're watching more of it. And so I think we just might be tapping into the large well of crap that's always been there from mediocre directors.
Yeah. Mostly that, I think. I mean, here's the other thing about this. Someone like Lagathetes or Gallo here, they're able to succeed in specific circumstances. Most of them are not genuine auteurs. You have to be a really special talent to pull that off. They need the right framework around them. And we also, the other thing we get with this, we get a lot of experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, this guy in particular, I've made plenty of comedies. There was a drama in there somewhere. Maybe I can make an action movie. Let's see. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I've heard that too.
This definitely comes across as, my comment about Zack Snyder, I think, applies, where you've seen someone else do a thing and go, I can do that, and you can't. You are not capable enough.
You can tell. Go ahead.
No, I mean, he compared him to Refn, and he might have been looking at Refn. It's a weird. If that actually happened, what a weird thing. It was like, I saw that Too Old to Die Young, and I loved it, and I wanted to go and make something just like it.
Yeah.
Okay, ham sandwich.
Well, yeah, you could tell by the color palette of this film. There was a lot of liberties taken to try and get a vision across.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think this is probably a situation where somebody felt that I'm going to try this. And I don't want, if they're going to do it again, they better learn from their mistakes and they better listen to people, because there were some things out here that were pretty inexcusable.
You said you have notes, Jesse, and here's what I've learned. When people have notes, I should let them read them. So tell us about your notes.
Well, really, all it is just me poking fun at the plot as it goes down through the movie. So, I mean, I'm not going to go through this whole plot, but I could tell you that, I mean, we talked about the motorcycle recaps that we get through the movie. Did you guys, let me ask you this, and Winfree, I'll throw it to you. Did you feel that the whole side plot with the guy the detective sitting around the bar having to deal with the feds was essential to this movie?
No.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Justified.
To be clear, I didn't hate it, but I don't know that it added in any sort of meaningful way to the story apart from padding out the runtime.
Exactly. This movie was an hour and a half? So we know that if this guy was influenced by Refn, that would be the one indication that says no way, or it's somebody stepping in and say, wait a second, what the hell are you doing? We need to get this down to an hour and a half. But yeah, it's clearly in there to pad out runtime. At least it feels like it. There's no reason we should be sitting around watching these guys talk to the feds, and it just. We know the beats of this story. There's probably like 5 beats to this whole story. And it's simple enough. Hey, go get the cash from these 5 places and come back and we'll address it then. You know what? One of the things I kind of want to bring up here, Mark, you mentioned Winfree, you were talking about how there's just no... We know there's a past, that Ruby Rose's character, Victoria, is that her name? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Victoria. Okay. So we know there's a past that Victoria has. We don't really know a whole lot about it. But
she's got a dead brother.
Yes. You know who...
That she talks about, but it's not actually a plot point or anything relevant to anything. It's like,
no.
It's part of my tragic backstory, so sure.
The movie Nobody did that fantastically. They threw you into a movie, an action movie, and you knew a little bit about the background, but I didn't understand why Christopher Lloyd was pulling a shotgun on these bad guys. I had no idea. Okay? I didn't care because I was caught up in the fun of the movie. There was no fun here. They threw all this stuff in there that just it was done well on Nobody. In this movie, it wasn't. And I don't know why, other than the fact that I didn't care, and it felt like it was forced.
I've got two things here very quickly. One, the first car chase sequence is so badly edited it gave me a mild headache. Two, I'm going to ask this to the both of you, but since Mark's been quiet the longest, I want him to respond first. Mark, is there any reason Morgan Freeman's character had to do the I kidnapped your daughter rigmarole song and dance, but all along I was a good guy? Like, is there any reason for him to have lied and gone through that instead of just telling her the truth that, yeah, I was dirty, you've been good to me, make these stops, I'll pay you off, and you can go on your merry way, I'm about to turn everyone in anyway?
No, it's not necessary, but in terms of what it was supposed to do for the audience, it was supposed to present Morgan Freeman as a degree of menace to Ruby Rose, so Ruby Rose, there would be tension between him and Ruby Rose for the audience to be involved with, and also it would be an obstacle for Ruby Rose to have to deal with. But then it's supposed to then play on your emotions at the end of the movie, like, oh, Morgan Freeman was good all along, and take the audience on that ride. It's poorly written and it's ham-fisted and it's terrible, but that was the intent.
It's motivation for motivation's sake, and it really rubbed me the wrong way when we watched this ruthless killer that Victoria is. She's good at her job. She's able to take down all these bad guys, and she's doing it all just to get her daughter back. All right, that's good motivation.
I want to see a pitch meeting on this, and I want him to be like, so everybody in this movie couldn't hit the broadside of an aircraft carrier, but Ruby Rose, with a handgun, at 100 yards.
Oh, God, that shot.
It's a sniper.
That shot annoyed me so much. Like when she hits that shot with her pistol after the guy with a rifle and a scope misses, when she's in a well-lit area, lower than him in elevation at the convention center. Like, no, you make that shot. I could make that shot.
Yeah, she's dead. And I even think, like, didn't one of the bullets, like, bounce off her helmet? Like, her helmet had magic powers, too? Her motorcycle helmet, because a motorcycle helmet should protect you from an impact if you should come off your motorcycle, but it should not protect you from a fucking bullet, from a rifle at 100 yards.
I don't know. You run out of things to criticize with this movie because there's just so many. Like, there's not enough time in the day to point out all stupid things.
I was really hoping there was going to be 10 stops so we could count exactly how many criminal stereotypes we could get. We got the Germans in here. We got 80s gay porn guy.
Oh my God, how great was that? That was my favorite scene of the movie. Would you like a mid-julep? I'm so gay.
I was like, man.
Yes, I'm sure you... Mark, if you... You know what? No, I'm not even going to give you the credit of having a wife and children here.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes worry about you in that respect, or wonder, because you're the one who's like, no, Snagglepuss, reimagined.
I was so gay, but I couldn't tell anybody.
That's Huckleberry Hound, not Snagglepuss.
I know, but that's what it reminded me of.
Or the desire, you're the one who advocated for Joey Janela to, like, not be shot. Or, hey, Effie's big gay brunch is a thing I'm genuinely, unironically interested in.
Yep. I am fully supportive of the LGBTQ plus community.
Oh, what did I hear them referred to as when it came to that? Because you missed a couple of letters there.
I think I repeated 2 of them.
What? Derek Lewis, I remember this. It was Derek Lewis who said he tried to go into that spiel. He just said, the alphabet people.
Oh, hot balls.
Oh, boy.
So speaking of gay people, let's talk about Ruby Rose for a second. So I don't think Ruby Rose is a good enough actress to carry a film like this.
She's not.
I think she's good as a supporting character. I'm looking at her filmography, and everything that she's good in, she's not the lead. Just looking at, like, she was great on, and I will speak to this. I watched it. She and I'm not the only one who said this because she actually won an award for this. She was great on Orange Is the New Black. She wasn't the lead. She was a
She show up in that?
Huh?
She must have been a late addition to that because I tapped out in season I think 3 or 4.
Yeah, she comes in towards the second half of the series for one season, and she's great. She works opposite the lead, the blonde lead, whose name I can't remember anymore, Piper.
No one cares.
Yeah, she works opposite Piper, and she's sort of entangled with her and the chick from that '70s show. She does a thing, and then she gets comeuppance, and she's off the show. She's great. She was great in Orange Is the New Black, but that was an ensemble cast, and she didn't. And they moderated her screen time. Other stuff she's been in. She's been in The Meg, where she was a supporting character, and she was fine as that supporting character. She was in Pitch Perfect 3. See what I said about The Meg.
About which the less said, the better.
She was in John Wick Chapter 2. See what I said about The Meg. And I didn't see Triple X's Return of Xander Cage, but I suspect she was just as good as what she was in The Meg. I vaguely remember her from Resident Evil: The Final Chapter, but again, not the lead. So my point being that I think, and her as Batwoman is a whole other conversation that I don't feel like having right now. Alexis and I talked about it last year. I didn't love her in that either. I think she got the role because of that character and what that character represents, and because of representation. But I don't think she's good enough to carry a lead role. And I think that's part of the problem with this movie is it's a very small cast. I mean, there's only like maybe a half a dozen people total in it. Ruby Rose, Morgan Freeman, Nick Vallelonga, Miles Doliak, Patrick Muldoon, and 4 other people. So there's 9 people altogether in this entire cast that's listed on the Wikipedia. And she takes up most of the screen time, and she's just not that good. She's not that good as a lead. She doesn't have a lot of screen presence. She doesn't have a lot of charisma, and she works better when she has someone to play off of. And in this one, you're either watching her do stunts, or she's playing off of Morgan Freeman, or she's interacting with far better and more interesting characters. Like the lady playing the governor, I thought was Julie Lott. She was fine. She was interesting, and she was more fun in that scene than Ruby Rose. And I've already been over, the gay gangster, who's hilarious and like, the best part of the movie. But even that, he's like acting circles around her and like overacting. Like he is being like worst gay stereotype you've ever seen, like insultingly gay stereotype, which was hilarious to me because that's just my sense of humor. And she's a mop in that scene, and it's like, I really struggled watching it this morning. Like I watched it when first. I should not have watched it in my bedroom. I should have gone to the living room because this thing did not keep my interest at all. And so it's like a guy who watched, a John Wick movie or and a Refn movie and was like, I want to do that, and doesn't know how to do it. That's really all I have to say about this movie. It sucked, and I'm sorry I did this to everyone.
Well, I mean, everybody has to stretch their legs somehow. If people thought that maybe she'd do great in a lead role, and this is the only lead role movie that you can name off, I mean, she's got to have her chance. As to whether this is... What was her character like on Orange Is the New Black? I've never seen it. Was she a thug lady, or was she comedic? What was her character like?
She was gay.
Okay.
So's
All right.
everyone.
All right.
That show is populated with nothing but gays.
Okay.
No, she
In real life, either the actors or their characters, or both.
See, that's the thing. On that show, she had shit tons of charisma. I think Sean and I talked about it at the time. Like, her and the gal who plays Piper actually had, like, a lot of on-screen chemistry together. They looked great together. And so she's kind of slippery, kind of slimy. She's worming her way into things, and she's making things happen. And, that's a lot of the characters on that show, is they having to do things in the shadows so they don't run afoul of the guards, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
She
Okay,
did great with it.
So not really a real action-heavy role. So this is
No, none
something
at all.
that... Okay, yeah. So this is something that's... She probably just tried her hand at to see... And I really...
Well, I mean, that's why she took Batwoman, right? I mean, she took Batwoman because it's a lead action role, and and she hurt herself, and she got injured, and she thought it was a miserable experience. I don't know when she took this, compared to when she took Batwoman, because sometimes films take. I mean, principal photography occurred in September 2020 in Biloxi, Mississippi, and wrapped in January. Oh, okay. Well, this was a fairly quick production then.
Yeah,
and so she was well done with Batwoman when this started. And that might have been it. She might have been tempted to take this role because she still wants to be seen as a lead action lady, but she doesn't have Batwoman to rest on anymore. And she, depending on which side of the story you took, doesn't look great coming out of Batwoman. You know, their story with her was she was a pain in the ass to work with.
Yeah.
Her story is she fucking injured me. So, you know.
You know what? Let's just be realistic about that. Those are both probably true statements.
Yeah. But I can see from her vantage point, you know, like this is a nice fun role where she gets to shoot up gangsters and ride around on a motorcycle and be all superhero-y. It just didn't work out. Not at all.
Winfree, tell me about. Well, actually, why don't you just tell the ladies out there that, you know, should they carry like a vial of cocaine on them just in case they get roofied? Because apparently that's the cure.
The cure for the date rape drug is cocaine. Sure.
I can't tell you how hard I eye rolled at that.
I mean, I watched it happen.
For the record, on the off chance that there are female listeners to these podcasts, I don't think most of our data indicates not, but yeah, who knows? On the off chance that you listen to this and watched this movie, I assure you that doesn't work that way.
You know, I was worried she wasn't going to sell the coke. Like, she just, obviously she put her face in it and it woke her up. But she shows back up at Morgan Freeman's house and she's still got, like, cocaine all over her face. And I was like, she's not going to sell that she's got coke all over her face or that she's incredibly high right now. But she did. So I'll give her credit for that. She twitched a little bit, but that was about it. So, the other unnecessary thing that I have written down here, and I'll leave this at my final thing and maybe pop in a couple little tidbits if we continue the conversation. But did this movie have to be rated R? What do you think?
I mean, is there a way to tell this same kind of story in a PG-13 setting? Yes, but who cares?
I mean, that's the only thing that I was really worried about when I was watching it in the living room Sunday morning when I should have been in church, was that when boobies are going to show up on the screen, and when is my son going to walk out of his room? And, of course, none of that happened. I think there was maybe just a fair bit of somebody's buttocks on a TV screen, and even at that, it was they had a G-string or whatever. But anyway.
No nudity.
Yeah.
Little bit of language. This was mostly, I think, for the violence, which even that was like cartoony more than kind of grounded in reality, but yeah, whatever.
And she murdered. Okay, so the end of this movie, as absurd as this is, so she wakes up in the governor's office, like at her home, and the governor talks to her. You know, keep me on point here. But the governor talks to her and basically says, "Go kill Morgan Freeman's character because, and we'll make sure everything's good to go. We want you, since he's got your daughter, why don't you go kill him, and we'll make sure everything goes okay." You know, just basically typical sleazy politician stuff, trying to get a wrench out of the gears. She agrees. Now, is the car that's sitting out front of the governor's mansion the governor's car?
Don't know. Could be.
She says, "I need a car." There's this really fancy, I don't know what kind of car, but it's a nice, speedy-looking car sitting right out front of the governor's mansion. Now, if the governor gave her the keys to her own car at the end of this movie, after Ruby Rose, Victoria, has killed the governor of this state, is running away in her car with 5 bags full of cash.
And no Mandy playing.
Fade to black and white, playing in a picnic, having a picnic in a park. It was the most absurd ending. Like, there's no way this girl gets away. Like, how is the cops not on her within 5 minutes of the governor being dead? Dead, I tell you. You know, that causes problems.
Don't you understand, Jesse? All the cops were there to be blown up, and then
Oh,
once
that's
the
right.
feds, and then once the feds realized the governor was corrupt anyway, they just kind of went, yeah, we're not going to look into that.
The 6 cops that bust into this estate, which has how many, like 2 or 3 floors, they apparently do not check the upstairs where Morgan Freeman is watching above with a trigger in his hand to blow everything up. Where's he at? Where's he go? I don't know where he's at. Boom. Okay. Well, anyway. So, it's just there's just little things. If you want to nitpick on this movie, like how she walks into the first club with a body cam on her, like the guards are just going to let her walk in with a body cam. Now, granted, that's kind of Morgan Freeman's MO, but these 2 guards probably have no idea. But they just let her walk into a strip club with a body cam, full out, no problem.
I've done that before. I've walked in with a big ass like VHS camera on my shoulder. Come on, girls, let's see them titties. Smile pretty for the camera. And they are, if there's one thing I've learned about strip clubs in all the years that I went to them, is that they are perfectly okay with you bringing in high quality video equipment.
All right, then. I'm sure. I'm absolutely certain you are correct. And the transition effects...
Again, for the record, everyone out there listening, any younger people who have not yet gone to a strip club, I have never been to a strip club myself. I have no plans on ever going to one. Even I know that doesn't fly. You don't record anything, and you don't touch the girls. I've never been in one, and I know that, and I still know those rules.
That's right.
You don't touch them without paying, and then even then, that there are one club is different from the next in terms of how much you can touch them after you've paid.
Nice, very nice. Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
All while you record it on your cell phone.
No, you're not allowed to whip out your cell phone or anything else for that matter. That much I know.
I was waiting for you to realize your language choices there and play off of it like only you can.
Excuse me while I whip this out. Anything else about this before we move on? Because I think we have roundly beat this thing to death.
Oh no! I mean, listen. Like I said, if you're looking for just a movie to pass the time by, there's probably something better that you can find. But like I said, I didn't walk away hating Mark for making me do this movie. It was a movie, and it was something fun to talk about with my friends, and really, really, really sometimes tough to get through.
Robert, any last words?
We mentioned it before, but it bears repeating. Every time Ruby Rose gets on that motorcycle, expect to just get recapped from everything that just happened every single time.
Oh man!
And some of the worst edited car chases you'll ever see. They're just
All right.
terrible.
Before we move on to the next segment, I want to remind everybody that there's no soundtrack for this. But if you're into movie soundtracks and there's other soundtracks you do enjoy, you should use our link at getamazonmusic.com/W2M network. That's getamazonmusic.com/W2M network. You'll get a free 30 days of Amazon Music, and you can check out all the music there is to stream on that service. Works just like Spotify or Apple Music, but it's got, just an endless catalog of great albums for you to choose from, all the hits, even some weird stuff that you might not think would be on there. It's on there. It's it's just a great service. And if you've already got like Amazon Prime or Amazon Grocery or whatever, or you're doing Amazon Video, I do a lot of Amazon Video. I have Amazon Prime. Why not bundle all your services together in one place? We all use Amazon. We all love Amazon. So get AmazonMusic.com/W2M network for your free 30 days of Amazon Music. Jesse, what are you listening to these days besides what I tell you to?
Well, it's mostly Fat Boys.
The Fat Boys are on Amazon Music.
That's right.
Did you know that I'm starving? I'm in the mood, and that plain and simple, I need food. I'm going to eat some beans, and very soon, Robert Winfree's going to leave the room.
He would, too. I think he might have left already.
All right. With that said, let's go to the news.
And now, I'm up at News Flash.
All right. So there's two things we're going to do in the news segment. One's an audible that I found after we had decided that I wasn't going to do anything for the news. But Robert has a thing. Robert's so smart. We should all bask in his glory. We should sit. He is the learning tree that we should sit under, and we should pluck his apples and bite on his knowledge. And so,
Please, God, why? Why would you phrase it like that?
Nibble, nibble, nibble.
Oh, go give him a little nibble. Anyway, so then there's me, who struggles with hard to pronounce names, and then there's Jesse, who got that Appalachia going on. And so when you put the three of us together, you have two dumbbells and a barbell, and you have a full workout set. No, you know, Robert has a thing that he would like to do for laughs and giggles. That's going to make me and Jesse, I'm sure, look like a bunch of idiots, but that's fine. We're here to have fun. We're all friends. So go ahead, Smarty Pants. Do your thing.
Okay, for the record, just so you understand the genesis of this. In a group chat that we share, Mark was on about something. I forget exactly what.
Oh, I talked about my son caught his first fish on his very first fishing trip. At which point, Chris Bailey said, "You should go to Newfoundland," and I'm like, "It's 20 hours away. It's 20 hours away." And then I jokingly said it's in China because, you know, that's my stand-in for far away. And Concrete Jones over here had to go and be like, "Oh, it's not technically in China," and we just went to the races.
Hold on, that wasn't even me. Like, somebody else said, "Wait a minute, you're equating Newfoundland with China," and you said, "Look, anything north of New York is Canada, anything west of Georgia is Alabama."
Correct.
This is my worldview, and I do not, and this is my understanding of geography. I think I chimed in with, "Yeah, you're aware of California only because you lived there briefly."
Right. You said something about like you know, do you or do you not know that Bangladesh is a real place? And I jokingly said that sounds like orc mischief.
I said, look, what I said was, I'd say I'm better than all of you. But I am better.
What I said was, you're all terrible, and I don't know why I associate with you.
I said I was better than all of you, but I phrased it differently so you wouldn't be so insulted.
We got into discussing Canada specifically, and some of our Canadian contingent gave me a little bit of grief. And I said, look, the fact that I could name at least 5 Canadian provinces and have a better than average chance of properly locating them on a map puts me head and shoulders above the vast majority of my contemporaries. And then Mark said, yeah, you're so smart. And I said, Mark, do you even know where Bangladesh is? And he said, that's not a real place.
I said, it sounds like orc mischief.
For the record, Bangladesh is a real country. It is located just to the east of India.
Yes, we know, Smarty.
Well, now you do, because I told you.
Oh, my God.
So we figured, you know what, let's kill a little bit of time. I will gather a list of both countries and random assortments of letters that I kind of throw together that sound like places. I'm going to let Jesse read them off. I'll be messaging them to him. And then Mark, based on Jesse's pronunciation of what I send him, will try to decide if this is a real country on the planet Earth or something I made up. We're not going to do this very long because it's not that interesting, but I figure we'll get a laugh out of it for one or two iterations. So, Jesse, are you ready to play, what, Earth or Earth or Outworld?
There you go.
We'll be
Bring it
reviewing
on,
the more
bring it on.
That movie. Okay. Here is entry number 1.
All right, Mark Radulich.
Hang on, let me turn off my messenger so I don't cheat. Go ahead.
I mean, you still could see this and probably not cheat because you'll have no idea if it is actual place or not. Because I right now I already disagree. But here we go.
Okay, Poppy.
And I, you know what? Here's the thing. I am Appalachian, so I'm not going to just put Appalachian stank on it. See, what happens to me a lot of times is that I try to put myself in whatever country I pretend this is from. So
Oh, this is better than I thought.
And I base it off of where apostrophes are and consonant gathering together there. So here it is. Here you go, Mark Radulich. It is Côte de l'Ivoire.
That's a real place.
That is, in fact, correct. What Jesse mangled was Côte d'Ivoire, better used to be known as the Ivory Coast. It is on the Horn or the western side of Africa.
I was going to go with it's in France, but yeah, that works too.
Hey, that's where I went with. Because, so then that means that where I'm thinking they're at, I'm pronouncing them correctly. So I got that one right, too.
They do speak French, and they do insist on it being the Côte d'Ivoire rather than the Ivory Coast.
Oh, damn. Okay.
See? I knew that.
No, you didn't.
I think that was a softball.
Oh, my God.
Right. That was no. I have a softball, actually, if you want it.
Okay. All right. Well, you just bring it on.
Okay, next one is up.
That is Cape Iwasagne.
No, that's not real.
You sure?
You're throwing me off by throwing Cape in there, like it would be like Cape Girard or other places that start with Cape, but I think you made that one up.
Yeah, that would be correct. That is not, in fact, a real place. It is a string of letters I threw together.
Yeah, like first of all, it sounded like he was saying Cape Irizarry, and I'm like, that sounds like someone's last name.
If you need me to pronounce it incorrectly again, you just
You're
tell
good.
me. Oh, this is easy. Mauritania.
I know Mauritania is a real place.
Don't you say Mauritania? It's Mauritania.
Also, there was a movie that came out called The Mauritanian. Damn it.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Was not aware of the movie.
No, I think it's about a prisoner in Guantanamo Bay, if I remember correctly. That's like held there without like trial or anything like that. It was based on a true story.
All right, next one, Jesse.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We're gonna do one more after this, then we'll be good.
There's supposed to be a vowel. You missed a vowel. Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan.
First of all, fuck you, Robert Winfree. I'm not stupid. There are fighters from Kyrgyzstan, you asshole.
Name one.
Khabib?
No.
No, there's got to be at least one fighter from Khabib.
That was horribly racist.
Khabib is from Russia. He's from the
Not
Russian
that
Federation.
Khabib. Not that Khabib. I was talking about the Khabib from Kyrgyzstan.
There is no Khabib fighter from Kyrgyzstan.
I refuse to believe that that's true.
You don't have to believe me. It's true. I don't care. So again,
no.
Name one.
Kyrgyzstan is a real place.
Yes, it is. In fact, there is a fighter in the UFC from Kyrgyzstan.
I'm sure his name has a lot of consonants in it.
Her name does not.
Oh, rats.
Actually, it does. Valentina Shevchenko's from Kyrgyzstan.
Oh, is she really? Oh, I thought she was like true, like a real Russian.
No, she actually lives in Peru at the moment, I think.
Oh, good for her.
She's fluent in both Russian, Spanish, and English. All right. Here you go, Jesse. We are still theoretically in that same part of the world.
Turkmenistan.
Are you trying to say Turkmenistan?
No, I am. There is no R in that whatsoever, sir.
Say it again?
Sinistan.
No, that's fake. I know all the stands, and that's not one of them.
Every stand, every one of them. Stan Lee.
Correct. That is not. No, it is not Turkmenistan. He's not butchering that particular one. No, that is another one that I made up. And do I want to throw one more?
One more. Bring it on. I'm doing good. I'm proud of
you should You should have tried to make Jesse pronounce Azerbaijan.
I thought about it, but I know Azerbaijan is a place.
I do.
Yeah, but me pronouncing it—that's where things get there.
Azerbaijan.
All right. Hang on. Here we go. Let's try this one.
Oh, one of those is silent. Okay, here we go.
Why is there a bat signal in there?
Caraco.
Curacao? Is that what you're trying to say? And Curacau's a real place.
I mean, I could see that, but the C's, I'm making hard C's.
I mean, you can make whatever you want hard. That's fine with me. But I'm telling you, what you're trying to say is
Jump on this hard C. It almost look okay. Cacao. So I know that cacao, the weird way they spell cocoa, or at least the dark chocolate, cacao. That's that reminds me of what I'm trying to say here. So I'm saying curacao. Eat it.
Eat your hard C. Curaçao's a real place if that's what you're trying to say.
Well, most likely it's got to be it, because I mean, this isn't a group effort. I probably shouldn't be helping you, but
all right.
For the record, yes, it is a real place.
Is it Curacao?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then this one's easy. I can tell right off the bat. It's Andorra.
Andorra. That's a made-up place.
No, actually, that's a real place.
Oh, is it really? That sounds like a fantasy place.
It is a very small country located on the border of not France and Belgium, Spain and France. Very small country.
All right, I'll pick that one.
Hey, you got another one?
Sure. Why not? This will amuse me. I'm just curious.
Chad.
Oh, it's a real place. It's in Africa, or like the Middle East part of Africa.
He knows all the stands and all the Chads.
Yeah, I do.
He doesn't even realize how badly he was just insulted. That's the lingo of the kids these days, Mark.
Yeah, I know. I caught it after you said it. Whatever. All right. Are you done? Are you done? You're not. You might be. You might be the smartest person in the room, but I'm not the dumbest. Are we satisfied now?
It was just designed to be a fun little game. You know that. I can't believe you missed Andorra. That one surprised me.
Honestly, I thought it was the place Sheba was from.
Well, that's where I was going too. I was like, wait a second. It's not indoor. I know that's Star Wars.
Like if you said like Lithuania, I would have known that one. I know some of the smaller countries in Europe, but weirdly enough, I'm more familiar with like the lesser known places of Africa and Asia than I am of Europe.
Mark is.
Okay, hang on, wait. Last one, just out of my own personal idle curiosity.
Liechtenstein.
First of all, you fucking illiterate.
There's no. I'm not giving you any hints. I'm going to pronounce it like it says. Liechtenstein.
It's Liechtenstein, and it's a real place.
Don't put a T in there when there's no T. It's Liechtenstein.
Did I miss the T? I did.
In the immortal words of Ralph, I beat the smart kids. I beat the smart kids.
Your answer is wrong. Okay, yes, it is. I guess it is supposed. Herzegovina.
It's also a real place.
Okay.
Only half of the country, though. Believe it or not. I misspelled that again. No, wait, no. Herzegovina is not a place.
Herzegovina is not a place?
Nope. It is
because
not.
you misspelled it?
Yes.
Jeez.
It is one. What I'm thinking of is half of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Nope, I misspelled that. So, technically what he said was not actually a country.
Technically, let me tell you, on the Metal Hammer of Doom, okay, Mark has given me, and I've given myself, a very hard time about geography. So really, if these roles were reversed, every single fucking one of them I would have got wrong. That's guaranteed.
Can I listen? I know the line to insult me forms to the left and goes for miles, but can I get some credit for knowing most of those?
Yeah, well, look, I drew from a handful of semi-obscure countries. My goal with the stands was just to throw a few too many of them at you and have you, like, take a 50-50 shot on one of them.
I actually know these. That's what kills me. Is like, these weren't guesses. All right, so it's on Rotten Tomatoes because the next thing that we usually do is our critical review. But I happened to see a link to something that I thought would be fun. Now, last night was the Oscars as we're recording this. And we're not going to talk about the Oscars because none of us have watched Nomadland or Mank or like I've watched a few of the nominees. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Is that about
Miami?
a lady's Bare butt.
Derriere, yes, it was.
All right.
You know, so like some of the stuff that was Oscar contenders. I mean, we reviewed a handful of the nominees, especially in like the visual effects category. I think we reviewed all those. The ones that won, Judas and the Black Messiah, we reviewed on here. Soul, we reviewed on here. Nothing, you know, we either didn't see or didn't review just about everything else, like 98% of what was covered in the Oscars last night. So it's not really worth talking about. But you know what is worth talking about, guys? I think a awards category that we can all identify with and that I think is very much on brand for the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. The 2021 Razzie Awards.
Oh, boy.
All right.
All right, in the category of Worst Picture, the nominees were 365 Days, Absolute Proof, Doolittle, Fantasy Island, and Music. And the winner of the Worst Picture of the Year for 2021 was Absolute Proof. Do you have any idea what Absolute Proof is? Like, I saw Doolittle. I took my kids to that. I wanted to do Fantasy Island on here, but it didn't work out, and the other ones I'm not aware of.
No, I didn't. I think I heard. I might know someone who saw it who said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen. So,
all right, so they're on the money here.
Yeah, my mom goes to, well, she was going to movies all the time. She went and saw Fantasy Island, and you know, my mom will watch just about anything and come away with it. I was like, oh, it's okay. She did not like that film. I don't know why, but she said she was not pleased with the way that the way that it was presented, apparently. So, but as for the rest of those, well, no clue. So
you haven't seen Doolittle yet?
No, I have not. And that's the one, the redo. Who did they have?
Robert Downey Jr. and John Cena plays a polar bear.
Okay,
And the whole thing is resolved with a fart joke.
That's true.
That's a movie for me.
Yeah, watch that one with the boys.
You're better than that. Please don't.
Worst actor, Robert Downey Jr. in Doolittle, Mike Lindell in Absolute Proof, Michelle Morone in 365 Days, Adam Sandler in Hubie Halloween, and David Spade in The Wrong Missy. I only know about The Wrong Missy because they talked about it on Half in the Bag. And we just talked about Doolittle and Absolute Proof, but I have no idea what 365 Days is. And I'm aware of Hubie Halloween was on Netflix and people watched it, but I haven't watched an Adam Sandler movie in God knows how long.
Nor should you.
Who did they say the winner was?
Absolute Proof, Mike Lindell.
Oh, that movie must suck. I mean, there's no way you could give it to Sandler because he's specifically okay. I mean, Hubie Halloween, he is going into that as his character that he's supposedly going to put into his Adam Sandler verse that is planned. I'm just hearing rumors. I'm not telling any facts. But anyway, there's no way you could discredit him for being stupid in a movie that's supposed to be stupid and acting stupid in a movie that's supposed to be stupid. So I'm glad he didn't.
You can. You really can.
Okay. Tell me.
Worst actress, Anne Hathaway in The Last Thing He Wanted and Ronald Dahl's The Witches, which we reviewed on here. Katie Holmes in Brahms the Boy 2 and The Secret Dare to Dream. Kate Hudson in Music. Lauren Lapkus in The Wrong Missy. And Anna Marie Sikluka in 365 Days. And the winner is Kate Hudson in Music.
Kind of surprised they didn't go with Anne Hathaway from Roald Dahl's The Witches.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that poor woman.
When
we reviewed that movie.
Was it all three of us, or was it? Oh, you know what? You were on that one. The one you weren't on was The Craft.
Ever.
Worst Supporting Actress, Glenn Close in Hillbilly Elegy. Lucy Hale in Fantasy Island, Maggie Q in Fantasy Island, Kristen Wiig for Wonder Woman 1984, and Maddie Ziegler for Music, and the winner was Maddie Ziegler for Music.
Oh, they really should have given that to Kristen Wiig. She'd have something to show for that.
It was that bad?
You haven't seen Wonder Woman yet?
Not yet, man. That is the DC movies I'm pretty far behind on, but I haven't seen that the latest Wonder Woman. I watched the first one, but not the second one. Was it bad? Like, was she really that bad?
It gets worse the longer it goes on.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Worst Supporting Actor, Chevy Chase in The Very Excellent Mr. Dundee, Rudy Giuliani as himself in Borat subsequent movie, Shia LaBeouf in The Tax Collector, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Iron Mask, Bruce Willis in Breach, Hard Kill, and Survive the Night. Wow.
I feel like they should give it to Bruce Willis for being nominated that many times.
Worst supporting actor is Rudy Giuliani because these are a bunch of hardcore lefty communists.
Because of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say this obviously is not taking itself extremely seriously.
That's it. I don't know. That just feels like an unnecessary cheap shot.
Well, it only gets worse. Worst screen combo: Rudy Giuliani and his pant zipper from Borat. Robert Downey Jr.'s utterly unconvincing Welsh accent.
Boy, was it.
Harrison Ford and that totally fake-looking CGI dog in Call of the Wild. Lauren Lapkus and David Spade in The Wrong Missy, and Adam Sandler in his grating simpleton voice in Who'Be Halloween. Your winner was once again Rudy Giuliani.
That one totally should have gone to Adam Sandler in his annoying grating voice.
Worst director: Charles Band, all three Barbie and Kendra movies. Barbara Biela Wallace and Tomas Mendez in 365 Days. Stephen Gaghan for Doolittle. Ron Howard for Hillbilly Elegy. And the winner is Saya for Music.
Okay.
Yeah, that tracks.
Worst screenplay: 365 Days, all three Barbara and Kendra movies, Doolittle, Fantasy Island, and Hillbilly Elegy. Your winner was 365 Days. Well, now I want to see this thing because they hated it so much.
I actually feel like the worst screenplay should have gone to Doolittle. That is just such a horribly written movie.
Wow, 365 Days has a 0 on the tomato meter.
Ooh.
Yeah. And now I'm really interested.
Where is it? Is it streaming
It's on
somewhere?
Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Okay. All right.
In order to save her relationship from falling apart, a woman goes to Sicily where she meets a dangerous man named Massimo.
It's dangerous.
It's a drama. It's in Polish.
Which I assure you is a real place, Poland.
Polish?
However, has not been at various points throughout history. That is a country that has been partitioned up more than once.
I've heard their Congress, their congressional house, is one of the wackiest in politics, the history of politics. It's very hard to follow and makes no sense.
At various points, the reason it got... Look, there was a period of time, I think... I forget exactly when this was. Would have been pre-World War I want to say. Fairly significantly pre-World War I. When the Prussian Empire, the Russian Empire, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, due to how their families were married in connection with the Polish royalty, and the Poles... Congress being what it was, they literally just over a period of about 5 years, each year just voted that each of their empires got more land from Poland, and at the end of it there was no Poland.
Last one rather. Worst remake, ripoff, or sequel: 365 Days. Polish remake, ripoff of 50 Shades of Grey. Jesse, why aren't we talking about this right now?
What? Wait, here. Netflix and No Chill says, "What did I just watch? I feel like this movie belongs on a different type of website." All right.
Adding to queue.
Hang on. Apparently, Pornhub has a great selection of actual television. People upload it there.
Nice.
And it just you can use it to just watch.
As long as there's, laugh tracks. Oh, perfect. Fits right in there.
All right.
As long as no one reports it, you can just find old television shows there.
Oh, I thought he was talking about actual okay, neat.
No. I mean straight up television, Gilligan's Island.
Oh, wow.
Stuff like that. I don't know if Gilligan's Island is up at the moment, but
all right. So to finish this up,
Gilligan might be.
I've seen that one.
Of course you have, Mark.
Worst remake, ripoff, or sequel. Oh, come on, little buddy.
Skipper and Mary Ann.
The Professor and Mary Ann.
Oh, anyway. My bad.
Doolittle.
That wasn't the one I watched anyway.
Worst remake or ripoff: 365 Days, Doolittle, Fantasy Island, Who'Be Halloween. Apparently, which is a remake or ripoff of Ernest Scared Stupid. Interesting.
Oh.
Wonder Woman 1984, and your winner is Doolittle. And that's your 2021 Razzie Awards.
I'll buy Doolittle as of those the worst as an adaptation or a reimagining of the original property. 100%.
It came out, I think, the same weekend as Bad Boy, so that's why we ended up not. And at the time, I wasn't trying to do like more than one review a week. 2020 changed a lot of that. Yeah.
2020 hadn't hit us yet. This was January of last year.
Yep, when the world was young and I was so beautiful. Yeah, so at the time, the way I was scheduling things was, well, I'm only doing one movie a weekend. Boy, has that changed. I do like 50 movie reviews now per week. All right, last part of the show here is our critical
analysis.
Critical review.
Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
This thing is currently sitting at 6% rotten with 50 reviews and a 16% audience score. So at least everyone agrees it's terrible.
No. You 16% of the audience. Shame on you. Just shame on you.
Dennis Schwartz of Dennis Schwartz Movie Reviews. Vanquish tries to be John Wick effective, but it's not in its DNA.
I could draw the parallels to John Wick. That's what I thought was one of the influences when I was watching it. But it was just like, okay, you don't have to copy. Well, actually, there was no copying involved here. It was an attempt. It was like, one of them things that you, instead of actually using a copy machine, a mimeograph, is that a right word? It was just a horrible, blurry piece of shit that came out on a piece of paper. So I drew the parallels, but there's no comparison.
Okay, hang on. Before we move on, I just have to say, kudos to you, sir, for getting a reference to a mimeograph machine into this show.
Fucking...
The hand up. For those of you who don't know, it's a hand-operated duplicating device.
Thank you.
So Patton Oswalt does a whole bit about that, like where he used to stay in this really shitty apartment building. I guess it was in San Francisco, and he received some sort of letter about wanting him to renew his lease. And he was like, I received a mimeograph. And then he called himself. He was like, fucking mimeograph? What am I, in 1950? He was like, and then he goes into then he does like an old man voice. He was like, I was at the malt shop on my way to an ether frolic. And he just goes on and on with that. That's what it reminded me of when you said mimeograph. Mimeograph. Jackie K. Cooper, who I'm sure uses a mimeograph at JackieKCooper.com.
Yeah, cited many times.
It's always good to see Morgan Freeman on screen, but sadly this movie is nothing to get excited about. It is a by-the-books thriller with a few action sequences. An understandable plot would have helped.
Understandable plot would have helped. That doesn't mean it's a by-the-book action/thriller. There's not a whole lot of the book here. I mean, even in the barest of bones, we're dealing with something that kind of eschews the book in favor of the nonsense.
John Urbanich of YourMoviesCleveland.com. Action junkies might find something to embrace, while the rest of us likely...
No, they won't.
Well, the rest of us likely will have to settle for a one-liner from a bad guy happily quipping, I heard you killed more people than Quentin Tarantino. Dude, my eyes rolled so hard that I fell off the bed.
Oh, dude, there was a point...
Such a stupid line. It's right after she kills 2 people in the German club.
Like, there was a point where she goes to pick up the money from the priest, and the priest, and I quote, says, I was done being a priest a long time ago. And then I swear to goodness, on cue, the thunder rolls. And I was like, my eyeballs fell out and rolled on the floor. That's how hard they rolled, okay?
Nice.
It was
almost as hard as my eyes rolled when Mechagodzilla's actual soundtrack when he appears on screen is dun dun dun.
Alrighty, next one. This is actually a fresh review. He scored it 3 out of 5.
Oh, what poor dumb bastard is this?
Daniel M. Kimmel of North Shore Movies. Ruby Rose fans should be pleased, and those seeing her for the first time will want to note her as someone to watch in the future.
Buddy, she is never going to date you. Never.
Wrong shade of penis, sir. Gary M. Kramer, speaking of which, of Gay City News.
Referencing a joke we made, about an hour ago?
Morgan Freeman literally phones in his performance. Anyone hoping Vanquish would provide Ruby Rose with a real kick-ass action character will be disappointed by this lackluster film.
I don't know why anyone would be hoping for that for Ruby Rose, but... Oh, God, yeah, no. You know what? I'm actually going to take you to task a little bit, buddy. Morgan Freeman gets to phone in whatever the hell he wants at this point. He's Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Oh, he phoned it in. You want to pretend everyone else didn't? Anybody gonna watch this movie and come away with the impression that, boy, everyone else really did give it their all, but Morgan Freeman, man.
He didn't stand up the whole movie. I was a little upset about. Oh, wait a second. That's right.
Okay, found another fresh one.
I'm sure you did.
Chris Nashawati of AARP Movies for Grown-Ups. The action scenes are serviceable.
Did you say AARP?
I did.
Okay.
I certainly did, Ollie. Not the first time I've read from his site either.
Which the two of you will be joining shortly.
Thanks, Winfree. Bastard.
The action scenes are serviceable. If it weren't for a semi-surprising third act twist, this would feel right at home on Cinemax Circuit 1992.
Okay.
No. The action sequences are not, in fact, serviceable, sir, unless your standards are the lowest. You would have to have the lowest standards of any human being watching film that I've ever heard of, up to and including small children and the infirm.
Peter Zabinski of RogerEbert.com, talk critic. Vanquish is like watching someone beta testing an exceptionally buggy game for a system that's soon to be phased out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That is accurate.
All right, let's see what you think of this one, Winfree, because, you have a memory like an elephant, and I'm sure you can talk to him about the suffering. Suffering. Charles Kaplinski of Real Talk with Chuck and Pam. Not only the worst film I've seen this year, perhaps in the last decade. So from 2011 till now.
Okay.
Ooh.
No. Look, you want to know how I know this is not the worst film of the last decade? I can give you just one real easy way to tell if it's the worst film of the last decade. Does it feature Adam Sandler? If the answer is no, it is not the worst movie of the decade.
We reviewed Pixels in that time. I know that because I have the list in front of me.
Yes, we did. We've reviewed a lot of crap in that particular time frame. There's a lot that I would actually say is in fact worse than this. This isn't good by any stretch of the imagination. For God's sake, Bad Boys. The third Bad Boys movie came out in the last decade. Adam Sandler, what was it? A stupid Western movie.
Oh,
yeah.
I was going to say, didn't Jack and Jill come out within the last 10 years?
Probably longer, but his, what the hell was that thing called? It wasn't the Magnificent Seven, it was the Something Six.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's just
That thing's unwatchable.
Oh, no, Jack and Jill
Directed
came out in 2011, so we're right on. We're right in the decade.
Yeah. No, buddy. You said decade purely to exaggerate for effect. No. I would rather watch this pile of flaming crap again than ever go near Jack and Jill. Ever.
Man. That was a bad movie.
David Kaplan of Kaplan vs. Kaplan. The movie is designed to be fun, albeit in a deadly way, and provide escapism, which it manages to do very well.
No.
You
it
and your
doesn't.
wife need to quit this. I don't know what it is you think you're doing, Kaplan and Kaplan, but cut it out.
Very well.
Yeah.
Very well. Okay.
Who are
I don't
these
know about
idiots?
Can
How
argue
did they
that.
get on Rotten Tomatoes?
Last one. G. Allen Johnson of San Francisco Chronicle. Anyone wondering what quote-unquote Ironside would have been like if Raymond Burr had been a dirty cop gets their answer courtesy of Morgan Freeman in the dreadful new thriller Vanquish.
Dreadful. Dreadful.
It is dreadful. But...
Dreadful.
Actually, This is the last one. Nate Adams, the only critic. A film that has many jump cuts, strobe lights, and canned techno music as George Gallo's trashy action flick, Vanquish should be immediately outlawed.
yeah.
The transitions and cuts, again, something that I was just like, okay, we're being experimental here, and we're being a little unconventional, but it's far from reffing, but it's enough to
Rapid
make
at
me.
least you say what we will about it, we said a whole lot about it.
Yes, we
but
did.
At least that had some artistic vision behind it. This doesn't even have that. It exists. It barely exists.
All right, tomorrow we're back on Damn You Hollywood. We'll have a full cast of characters. We'll have Jason Teasley, Alexis Hannah, myself, and Robert. We'll be reviewing the new Mortal Kombat. Get over here.
Oh, boy, Will.
I am Sub-Zero.
I showed the kids, after we watched the movie, I showed the kids the trailer for the 95 film.
Did you
You
show
let-
them 95 film?
You let your
Is it so much
7-year-old
better?
watch. Wait. You let your. This isn't like I'm just wanting to make sure I understand you. You let.
How
your
dare you judge me?
You let your 7-year-old watch the rated R Mortal Kombat.
No, he didn't watch it. Caleb
Oh,
did.
okay. Oh, that's
Colton
fine.
did not.
Caleb is 12, right?
11.
11.
Yep.
How comfortable were you with people being impaled with him watching it?
Oh, dude, he's played the game a
Okay.
lot, so I knew he was ready for what we were getting into, and so I was violence. It's I think I've shared the same view that you do. It could be plenty of violence on the screen, but if there's a booby or something like that, we might have there's got to be some parental guidance at least at that point.
Well, I mean, they just
You're
here's
a
the other
bunch
thing.
of...
Here's the other thing, and I don't want to go into a whole long, parenting podcast about this, but I'm not going to let my kids watch it. I'm going to show them the 95 version tomorrow, but I'm not going to let them watch this one. I think coming from me, I'm sure is going to be rich, but I'm going to say it anyway. Too much use of the word fuck. I mean, it's every other word in this. It's ridiculous. And I'm not comfortable with my 7-year-old or my 10-year-old daughter who already struggles with certain degrees of violence, seeing people get, in their entire torsos ripped out and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously... I'm not going to force
Your
somebody...
daughter is a delicate soul, Mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't have somebody watch this that could be impacted with what's going on.
Well, weirdly, I've shown Jonas, that, the Kenny Omega thing, and I've shown him some GCW stuff and, No Holds Barred, and I'm okay with it. He understands that it's, it is what it is, and it's not something that, it's not like afterwards he took a light bulb to someone's head or anything like that. He knows it's just fantasy. But it's weird. I don't know. I'm just drawing a hard line on this one, and I'm not. And I think if it were reversed, I think if he were 10 and my daughter were 7, I would be okay with him. I think he would be able to handle the violence more. But I'm still not okay with all the cursing that's in it.
Have you? This is why your daughter's going to grow up to be a raging feminist, because you treat her differently than you treat you.
Dude, her fucking favorite phrase is "I'm scared." She has thoughts, by the way, about Demon Slayer. She can't wait to share them with you.
Hopefully, I'm able to get
Hopefully.
over this. But I fully anticipate seeing it in the appropriate amount of time. Probably just be Wednesday. My local theater is running some weird hours these days, and it's off-putting to me, who is cheap, more than anything else.
Well, we caught the 4:30 show with English dub, so I don't know, but that's Tampa. It's not Utah.
Yeah, the earliest show I can get to for most of these is probably right around then, and that doesn't work for me on Tuesday, so it'll have to be a Wednesday, and then I'm like paying the $10 to go see it that late, and I'm.
Do I have to
Which
cash
is
out
not-
you $10?
No, dude, this is just me griping because I'm cheap.
Okay.
I don't need you to look. You want to pay me for all my pain and suffering? I'll take your money.
Sure. So,
But for the record,
as soon as we start making a profit. Speaking of profits of Rage, so yeah, tomorrow we'll do a TV party for Impact Rebellion, Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann, and then in the evening, as the aforementioned Mortal Kombat 2021 review, and then Jesse and I will be doing a Metal Hammer of Doom for the TVT Mortal Kombat soundtracks, the Mortal Kombat the '95 movie, More Kombat, which is music inspired by the music from the movie, and then Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So select tracks, about 15 or 16 of each.
that is a experience.
The Thursday, Sean and I are doing an on trial for Mortal Kombat from 1995, and then on Friday, damn it. How's the editing going, by the way? You ready to start putting some stuff up before I take all the days?
You talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Robert Winfree. He was assigned edit your Everyone Loves a Bad Guy and start posting them, and I haven't seen shit from you. How's it going?
Well, one, you've scheduled out a ton of crap already, so scrolling through everything to find the appropriate spot is a bit of a bear.
3:30, 4:30, 5:30.
I told you could double up on the days that I do them. Just don't put them at 12:05.
I'm aware of that. I was also waiting for Jesse to get done with his kind of correlation thing, so
Okay, gotcha.
I'll just. And then for the first few of these, I'm probably just going to record a brief thing and then send it to him and let him tack it onto the front and just call that good.
All right. Well, Friday, there's no live shows, but we are re-airing because Michael B. Jordan's Michael Clancy movie Without Remorse is airing on Amazon. We're not reviewing it because nobody wanted to. But we did do a long
Can't
road-
imagine why.
Not even Jason wanted to do that one. I was really surprised by it. But we are doing a Long Road to Ruin. We had done, rather, back in the day, a Long Road to Ruin for the Jack Ryan movies with The Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, and Clear and Present Danger. So that's going to go up on Friday. And then Saturday, Jesse got to upload a show. Oh boy, Jesse!
Look out.
Yeah, syndicated source material. What if Spider-Man had joined the Fantastic Four? This is another one of your Sad Man specials.
So, I can't remember. I think this may just be me. We're getting ready to start into the what if part of things that I had put on the network way back in 2014, 2015.
Yeah, 97
so
what ifs in a row.
Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a fun ride for the next couple months. What if?
And then Sunday, presuming Robert is able to see the movie and get home on time, we'll be doing a recording. It'll be him, my daughter, and I reviewing Demon Slayer Mugen Train, which I just saw today while I was awake.
Did David bow out of that?
He may not be able to see the movie because Canada is doing its own weird thing.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I know he was tentatively scheduled in. I hadn't heard a final word on that, so.
The following week, there's no Damn You Hollywoods scheduled, but we will be back for Wrath of Man on May 11th. So that'll be after Mortal Kombat. That'll be the next one, and then Spiral, and then 2 weeks later, Cruella. So yeah, we got plenty of Damn You Hollywood, and Robert Winfree and Alexis Hand and possibly Jason Teasley will be doing their own Damn You Hollywood without me because it'll be my birthday and I don't wanna. They'll be doing A Quiet Place too on June 2nd.
Yeah, that's what.
I'll be officially 45 years old then, and then the rest of me can fall apart.
You've only been dealing with the stuff in the head at this point. It's gonna get worse.
Making its way down.
Yeah.
The lower back goes next.
Have you sat on your sack yet? 'Cause that's going to happen soon.
Every time I get on my bike. All right, Robert, without repeating the ones that I've already done, only the ones I haven't mentioned that you're going to be on, because I don't know why we feel the need to repeat each other. Go ahead and do your plugs.
All right, Mark mentioned, again, a bunch of stuff. The month of May is going to be a busy one for all of us. I've seen the schedule. We got a lot of stuff coming out this particular month. So if you're not subscribed or following or however you happen to do that on whatever your podcasting app of choice happens to be, good time to do so because we've got stuff for you people coming shortly. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I covered UFC 261, a night of violence and insanity.
Brought to you by the first round finish club and legs made of toothpicks.
Dude, I don't even watch that stuff and saw it. Ugh.
Yeah, it was a thing. It was definitely a thing. So you can find my full report from all of that in the MMA Zone of 411 Mania. I host the 411 Ground and Pound MMA podcast most Sundays. This last week, we have a review of UFC 261 and a brief preview of the upcoming event that I will not actually be covering. For the first time in almost a decade, I will not be covering an event live as it goes down.
Who's covering that for you?
I have no idea. You want the brutal truth?
Nobody?
Probably nobody, because nobody cares.
Okay. It's the night of the Canelo fight. No one's watching that, unless they're not into boxing.
That actually makes me sad, because I won't be able to watch the Canelo fight either.
Just watch it at the wedding. On your phone.
I don't have a phone.
You can finish your plugs, old man.
Look, forgive me. No, I don't own a cell phone at the moment.
Okay, got it.
You can find that. Once we're done here recording, I will be watching and writing up my review for AEW Dark Elevation. Thankfully, the runtime for this one is 90 minutes, which is an appropriate runtime for this kind of show. I have to bring this up because of the first 5 episodes, I believe 3 of them were over 2 hours long. Nobody needs that. But 90 minutes, appropriate time. So I'll be doing that. Wednesday, I will have a report for MLW's Fusion when that goes up. I think this week is the rematch between Myron Reed and Leo Rush, where I assume the belt will go back to Myron Reed because vague reasons. Never mind the fact that Myron Reed is, well, Myron Reed. And Friday, I will be covering WWE SmackDown. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do that initially, but since we're not leaving for the wedding until Saturday morning, I will have that evening free to cover SmackDown. So tune in for Daniel Bryan's final night on SmackDown in all probability. And yeah, stop by. Those all you can find all of those in the Wrestling Zone of 411 Mania. You can find the 411 Ground and Pound MMA podcast wherever you listen to this podcast. If you type in the name of that show, you will almost certainly find it.
Jesse, what unspoken issues? Hey, did you ever tell Dean that I wanted to take over his site and start doing my own thing?
No, I forgot all about that. I was like, Mark wants to do music on your site, and then I was like, I better. That's going to be a tough one to broach. At some point, when I talk to Dean, I'll have to throw him the suggestion. Yeah, unspoken issues. We were supposed to record last Thursday, and I think what ended up happening was Skype was being very difficult on Dean's end, and we could not. He was sending me pictures of his screen where it was just basically a blue screen with the Skype logo in the middle, and that's all it was for half an hour.
Where was
so
Chris?
We couldn't. What's that?
Where was Armstrong?
He was hanging out of town, so it was just going to be me and Dean. And plus, I don't think we talked about this on I think the latest Unspoken Issues. Wrestling's not Chris's thing, so WCW issue number 1, he probably would have rather sat that one out anyway.
Should have gotten Pat to do it.
Well, hey, I've got Dean Compton, the guy who runs Unspoken Issues, the Unspoken Decade and Unspoken Issues, really.
Yeah, but apparently he can't get his shit together.
I'm not. He ran into problems. It happens, Mark. It just happens. Skype is Skype.
Oh, well, I'm aware. I've been listening to my old Long Road to Ruins. Yep, we had 1 or 2 problems with sound back in the day.
Yes, we can run into some technical issues.
Who'd have thought?
Technical issues. But the plan is this Thursday, we're actually going to do a double recording. We're going to record our discussion about WCW number 1, and then our discussion about X-Men, the last Jim Lee X-Men, which was X-Men number 11. So we're going to knock those 2 out. We'll have some content for Unspoken Issues. And I even think there's a poll result that has been turned in for Nightwing number 6 that Chris Armstrong and I are going to knock out as well. So the content is on the way. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested, if you're a 90s comic book fan, feel free to go over to the Unspoken Issues Podcast Facebook page where we hold polls. And right now there's a real special one going on where you can pick the poll that comes up.
I did. I sent you 2 Bane ones.
That's right. Mark Radulich pitched in, told us all about what he wants to hear from us. I think Evan Bevins gave us like 2 really good suggestions for polls. We had a Blood Syndicate versus it was a Milestone one.
Later in the year, I'm going to send you 2 for Resident Evil because now I understand how this game is played.
How can I get it into my schedule? All right. So anyway, yeah, keep an eye out for that. The Unspoken Issues the podcast will be dropping here pretty soon. Also, we will be having a trivia podcast that is expected to air sometime in May. We have come up with a working title right now called, let me make sure I got this right, I believe we're going with Tripped Up. What?
I was going to say it's called Nerds Rambling into a Microphone.
Tripped Up Trivia. Tripped Up Trivia. Alexis and I will be co-hosting. It's a joint event. She's coming up with the questions for this first round, where our first podcast will be on the subject of science fiction. Big, nice, general, broad trivia about science fiction. So
and if you are a nerd with a loser with no life and you're not watching the Canelo fight, you can join them because it'll be going on the same night.
Mark's bitter. Although I know you're going to enjoy your fights, you enjoy your violence. That's fine. That is fine. We've got a whole host of themes coming up for the rest of the year, so we're really hoping this works out well. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a learning experience. I think that a lot of people out there will be listening and yelling at their podcast screens. I guarantee it. Podcast screens. That's the thing, isn't it? Also, make sure to tune in to Robert Winfree and I's special coverage of Star Trek Transformers. He was really excited about the book. He wanted to talk about Captain Kirk Jaegered, a transforming Enterprise. That is correct. A transforming starship.
I don't believe that's true. I don't believe it's true that you're covering it with him.
That's not on the schedule? Winfree, did you delete that? You need to tell me about these things, Winfree. He is deathly silent, and I'm very scared right now, actually.
Wait, did we lose him?
If I were you, Jesse,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I would at no point in the next, let's call it a couple of years,
Oh, man.
spend any more than about 5 to 6 minutes outside of proximity to your children and your wife. Because I don't deal in collateral damage like that. But if you give me the opportunity...
He's going to Ruby Rose me. It's going to be bad. Sniped. Boom! What happened?
No. That's too clean.
Oh, no. All because you're upset about a property crossover that was epic. I don't understand you, Robert Winfree, at all. At all.
Are you doing that for, were you just reading it for giggles, or are you doing some sort of actual recording on it?
No, not recording on it. I was giving him a hard time because he hated it. I posted a lot of pictures in our chat, and so, ladies and gentlemen, hey, listen, Robert Winfree would love to hear from you if you'd like for us to cover that at some point.
I think you should do a poll.
That's it. I'm done. Before I actually, for some reason, explode on this podcast because Robert Winfree's mojo somehow gets shot across the internet and I die.
For the record, I broke Mark's jaw just with the force of my hatred.
Oh, that's the reason. I knew it. Damn it.
All right, with that said, thank you for joining us here on our review of Vanquish, starring Ruby Rose and Morgan Freeman. For Jesse Starcher and Robert Winfree, I'm Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.